Good morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I was looking down, so I didn't look up here to see if I went live, but I assume I went live. I want to welcome everybody here today. If you haven't been before, I do these sessions to help you guys start, run, and grow online businesses. Absolutely free. Don't sell anything at all in here. I just try to give you good information that's going to help you out. Today, I'm going to be talking about actually improving your communication skills. I think this is probably the number one skill in life, literally in life. There's probably no better skill than being able to communicate your thoughts, your feelings, your ideas to other human beings. If you can do that, I mean, a lot of other things will fall into place. I want to welcome everybody here today. If you haven't subscribed, if you're new, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down there. Don't forget, ring the bell, turn on all bell notifications so you're notified each and every time I go live or I upload a video. Richard, thank you so much for letting me know I'm loud and clear. Let's see. Do get an awful lot of these sessions. Take notes and keep them in your journal. Thank you so much. Yeah, we try to provide you something that is really going to work for you. And James, let me check the weather. What is happening in San Diego today? And it's going to be Texas soon, so the weather's going to change. Today's a high of 74, not bad, partly cloudy. I would prefer it was a little bit warmer. I want to go to 76. Yeah, 76, 77. Boy, is that picky, right? We've got it made. What am I saying here? We've all got it made. Let's see what else we got here. Golly bum, I can see and hear you in Savannah. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. And don't forget, smash that like button there. That means a whole lot to this session. Today I am going to be talking about communication skills. However, you may have a question that's about emails, about landing pages, about, creating a sales page or whatever it is, or picking products. And that's okay. You can ask about that. Not a problem. Feel free to do so. I will entertain any questions that I can help you guys out with. We normally go about 30 minutes like that, something like that. So it's a pretty short session. Richard Brown says 67 here and hot enough for me. Yeah, I'm a shorts and t-shirt kind of guy. So I mean, 75 is around where it's really comfortable for that. I've got my workout shirt on today, and I get up every day and I put on my workout clothes. And what does it remind me to do? To work out. And I've done well this week. I've gone Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So today's Thursday. I got to hit today. Today's the easier day. I don't have to do upper body. Yesterday, I had to do upper body, which means tons of push-ups. I had to do 133 yesterday, along with all my other exercises I had to do. But that's my push-up day. I feel like as we get older, and I'm going to get into the session in a second, I'm a little off track, but I feel like as we get older, the first thing to go is our shoulders. So I try to keep those in shape, right? We try to work out hard, try to have some muscle in our shoulders and arms. I think that's super important. And this communication, guys, oh my gosh. It's like, I see people all the time getting in arguments. I see people all the time getting frustrated. And it's because of communication. I mean, communication skills are the key to success in every single thing you do, really. And I'm going to give you 7 different steps today to help you with that. But man, honestly, how else would people communicate? In order to enjoy an agreeable business and personal discussion, the communication level has to be excellent. I mean, it's got to be really good. How does one communicate effectively? Simply put, say what you mean and say it clearly and say it with respect. And that's an overall. However, let's talk about some of the steps that we've got to do that really are important. All right, and this has to do with business, but I'm telling you, this matters if you're raising your 2 kids. I raised 2 kids, or 3 kids, or 1. I don't know why I said 2. But if you can communicate with your kids well, you can raise them well. Okay, but I would say step number 1 is learn how to use business talk. Okay, if you're trying to get somebody, and this has to do with the written word too. So if we're talking about sales pages, this has to do with sales pages. If we're talking about emails, this has to do with emails. All of these things matter. Okay, so if you're trying to get somebody to open up, then try using open-ended questions rather than yes or no interrogations, especially if you're a one-on-one. Now, in my sales copy, I'll do this. I'll say, what do you think about this? Or have you ever done this? And then I'll go on to answer different things. When I'm communicating with people who comment on my videos, somebody may say, yeah, I started my own business and I'm going to use some of these things you talked about. I may say to them, oh, that's great. I'm glad you found this useful. What kind of business did you start and which things do you think will be useful to you? Now, the reason I'm going to do that is I want to get a dialogue going with them, and the more comments I have in that comment section, the better off I am. But the other thing is you got to really listen to the people, and I'll get into that in a second. When reviewing your own manner, analyze how you approach people. Okay, that's really important. Do you bully them, with like closed-ended questions, or do you ask them in a positive manner how both of you can make necessary changes to get something going, to make a sale? I think it's so important to treat people like human beings. I think too often when we have a business, we tend to talk like a business instead of talking like a human. The more effective you can be with your communication, the more successful you're going to be with sales, personally, professionally. All these things really matter. Number 2, recognize communication issues caused by technology. With all the stuff that's going on with technology now, and we use technology a lot. This is you want to communicate effectively, check out NLP. Yeah, neuro-linguistic programming, I think can have a part in your communication, and that's a whole other study. But yeah, I've studied that, and that can really be helpful. But there's a lot of barriers nowadays that we didn't have before. Sometimes your messages, especially if they're written or they're on a sales page, they're in an email, they can be misunderstood. Sometimes, even if you're just talking, static or interruptions like that can make you misunderstood. When communicating by phone, it's really common for people to use selective hearing. Selective hearing, what's that? Well, that's like where grandpa only hears what he wants to hear, right? Which can be a big problem. Other technology-based communications problems may result from, let's say, lost phone messages or ambiguous email messages or something going to spam or something along those lines. Remember that this form of impersonal communication usually doesn't allow for nonverbal clues. So when you're selling online, you got to do it twice as good as you would in person, because you don't have these nonverbal clues. Although virtual conferencing is increasing and more of us are doing that, we're still missing that body language type thing. I mean, you can see somebody's face, but their body language means a lot too. Other communication problems can result from keeping biases and stereotypical groups of individuals based on their race or sex or nationality or age or religion. And guys, we got to understand, I mean, all this crap in the world, and there's racism and sexism and all these things. We're all just human beings. I mean, if you just step back for a second and go, wait a second, we're just human beings. It doesn't matter where we came from. It doesn't matter our upbringing. It doesn't matter what we look like. We're just human beings trying to get through life. And as soon as you think that way, as soon as you realize that the audience you're talking to, whether it's, at the end of one of my emails, or whether it's, me talking across the table with somebody, it helps so much to realize that. It really does. If you could get that through your head and get all this stereotypical crap out of your head and just treat people like human beings, everything's going to work out better for you. Everything is going to work out better for you. Number 3, this is a big one. Never assume anything. Ever. Okay? Sometimes you may assume because of somebody's age they know something, what town they came from, what country they came from. You may assume they think a certain way because they came from a certain ethnic group. Man, drop all that stuff. Just drop all that stuff. And as soon as what you may be thinking could be correct or could be totally incorrect, but the point is, wouldn't it be better to get to know that person for who they are, right? So when I'm writing an email, I write like I'm writing to a human being, because I am, okay? I'm writing to a human being. I'm talking to them. If I'm doing a sales page, if I'm doing a VSL, a visual or a virtual, video sales letter on one of my pages, I realize I'm talking to a person. I'm not talking to a group. I'm not even talking to a group, okay? I don't say all you guys, because all you guys, there is no such thing. They're all different. I'm talking to an individual. Assumptions are another common problem, whether they are self-fulfilled assumptions or merely assuming that others see things the same way you do. They may not see it the same way you do. They've had different influences in their life. Never assume. Never, ever assume. The fact of the matter is that most people do not see things the way you do, okay? Nor do they have the same feelings you do. It's funny. My son was probably about 8 or 9 years old, and we're driving on a long trip one time, and we're driving down the road, and there's one, the huge billboards on each side of the road, which I don't even know why they exist anymore. They don't do anything, but there's a huge billboard, and the billboard itself was all painted white. So it's just white background, just white's all you could see. And then in black lettering, real big and bold, it said available, and then it had a phone number. And my son was looking at that sign and looking at me and looking at that sign. And finally he looks at me, he says, "What's available?" So you can't assume anything, right? You can't assume anything. He had no clue that the sign was available, okay? The less you assume, the better off you are. This falls into the category of making sure that your communication is always crystal clear. So maybe on that billboard, they should have said, "This billboard available," and had a phone number. The assumption was you would know. Well, that 8 or 9-year-old boy didn't know. I'm going to get a sipper here real quick. And guys, feel free to put whatever comments, questions, suggestions you got in this notes section here. This is your session. I don't own this session. This is your session, okay? And I've got number 4 coming up next. Is this number 4? Let me see here. I've got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, number 4 right here. This is number 4. Try to improve your tone and body language. Now, I understand if you're doing an email, you're doing a sales page, that's not going to matter. But sometimes you're one-on-one. Sometimes you're in a video. I'm in a video right now. And if I use the same tone of voice, let's say I talk like this the whole time, that would be pretty boring, right? Use the tone of your voice to express how you feel about something. I'm really excited about this stuff. I'm excited to share this stuff with you. Hopefully it comes across, when I'm talking to you, that I'm excited about this. I want to help you. I really, really want to help you. I want to see you get results, and I want to communicate that with you. Together in trying to improve your communications, beware of defensive posture. So if I'm talking to you like this and looking down, right, I'm not going to be communicating the right thing. I need to have my arms open, hands open. You can see my hands. When talking about body language, if you clench your hands like this, people think you're trying to hide something. And it goes back to our, prehistoric days where, you could have a weapon in your hand. It could be dangerous, right? So show your hands. It's okay. Open up your hands. Once a person goes on defensive, the conversation tends to spiral into oblivion. It's not good, okay? So we don't want to get people on defensive. We want people relaxed and happy. Hey, even if they don't buy what you're selling, even if they don't buy your product, even if they don't buy your service, even if they don't agree with you, we want them to go away feeling good that they made contact with you. That's my goal. If somebody doesn't like my stuff, that's okay. If somebody doesn't want to buy my stuff, that's okay. But I do want them to leave the situation feeling good that they had an interaction with me. Is that how people feel when they interact with you? Make sure you use a friendly and welcoming posture. And this is your emails, this is your sales pages, this is your one-on-one communication. Open your arms, smile. Smile, okay? Smiling doesn't hurt. Even if it's a forced smile, it's better than a regular frown, okay? Even if it's a forced smile. If you sense yourself taking on a defensive gesture, or even resorting to defensive tone, perhaps you were provoked by the person. Maybe they said something mean to you, okay? Eliminate those signs, okay? Eliminate them. Don't let emotions empower good judgment. Don't let that happen. In fact, the misreading of body language and tone of voice is one of the most common problems of the breakdown of communication. Sometimes you're reading these communications wrong. You may be seeing that person with the closed arms listening to you, thinking they're defensive, when in fact, they're just anxious, they're nervous, they're scared, okay? Who knows what it is? But you need to keep the flow going. You need to have good body language. Your tone is one of the most important things, the tone of your voice. Even if you're saying something agreeable or disagreeable, if you show physical signs to the contrary, your message and your honesty will come under great suspicion, okay? They're not going to trust you. Remember that negative and positive body language comes across in any language, in any circumstance. So it doesn't matter where somebody's coming from. If you have negative body language when you're talking to them, it's going to come across that way. And we don't want that. That's not something we want. Let me get another sip here real quick. Very nice. Got my tea this morning. Got up a little early, went over to Dunkin'. They call it Dunkin' Donuts for years, but now it's just Dunkin' because they sell everything. Very little donuts. Interesting how they do stuff. Richard Brown says mirroring is a good tactic. It's a very good tactic. And what you want to do, and I used to teach sales courses to automotive dealerships. I spent 9 years on the road doing that. But the thing about mirroring, and I'm glad you brought that up, and I'll touch on that for a second. I used to spend about an hour on mirroring. But mirroring, first off, is the body language that you have and the body language they have. Now, if you have somebody, and I used to give this example, somebody would be out on the dealership lot, they'd be looking at a car, and maybe they had their arms crossed like this, and you could tell they were all closed in, you know, maybe they just got out of a Volvo station wagon or something, you know, maybe they were smoking a pipe, okay, so we're starting to categorize that person. But, you know, if you go up to this person, right, who's all closed in like this, who's afraid, who's, let's say, looking at the window sticker of a car, and you go out and go, hey, I'm JR, nice to meet you. They're going to be like, oh no, just leave me alone, don't bother me. So what we would do is we would do some mirroring with that person, and I'm glad you brought that up. I would not do that. I would go out there, and here's the thing, this is the prefix to everything. People like people who are like themselves. Let me say that one more time. People like people who are like themselves. So they got to see people like themselves in you for them to like you. So here's what we do. When we had that person out there on the lot with their arms closed and they're looking at the car and looking at the window sticker, I would walk up and have my arms closed too. And I wouldn't say a word. Nothing. I'd just walk up and I'd start looking too. And that person would turn and look at me and go, oh, well, you work here? And I would say, yeah. And I would listen to their tone of voice. If it was slow and methodical, my voice would be slow and methodical. And they would say, well, and they would take their shoulders, is this the price of this car? And I would take my shoulder and I'd go, yeah, this is the price of that car. And there's another part right here, and I would point to something, leaving one arm still closed, and point to something with one of my hands, and guess what they would do? They would point with one of their hands the same way. And guess what they were thinking? They were like, I like this person. They liked me because I was just like them. And then slowly I could drop the other arm and the other arm, and they would too. I saw this happen time and time and time again. You've got to look at what you're dealing with in a person, okay? And your audience, one-on-one is one thing. Your audience that's reading your emails, where are they coming from? You know, are they defensive? You know, and you can actually use this in emails too. You can say, hey, I once never stored food. I thought storing food was silly. I thought that was for crazy people. You know, and you can jump on their side by doing that and say, but then I was in the middle of a hurricane and I didn't have food for, you know, a day or two or whatever. And this may be an email I'd be writing to people who I'm selling survival food to. So I jumped on their side. I used their mental and physical body language of what they would do. You could do that too. So tying that together is really super, super important. That body language stuff. Next thing, and this is number 5, I think it is. Recognize problems with your communication. Recognize problems with your communication. What are some of the most common barriers in effective communication? What are they? What do you think they are? For starters, there is language or word usage, okay? And that's why I say, man, communication is so important, guys. And the more you do this, the better off you'll be at it. I know as a younger guy, I was always nervous and anxious and scared to talk and didn't you know, stand up in class and read out of the book and any of that stuff. I was always afraid of ridicule or getting something negative coming back at me. And you know what? Most humans are that way. But most humans go through their entire life like that. I overcame that, okay, by doing certain things. And you can too. So if you don't feel comfortable with some of the stuff I'm telling you now, if you start doing it over and over again, you will become more and more comfortable. I can promise you that. You cannot assume that what sounds perfect to you would strike others the same way. Okay, just because it sounds good to you. People can easily misinterpret or even distort a statement's meaning. Very easy for them to do this. It is wise to avoid saying anything questionable that may confuse a listener or inadvertently provoke a negative reaction. So you don't want to be provocative in the beginning, okay? You got to get on their wavelength first. You've got to get them kind of liking you first. You got to get them buying into what you're saying first. You must do this first before you say anything controversial, okay? And I like to stay away from it. Sarcasm and humor can also be difficult to get across. You know, I kid around a lot, and a lot of people don't know that. They don't know me, and they think, oh my God, I got serious about that? And I'm kidding around. It's just a joke. Some people don't get it. My wife is very bright. She understands it. When I kid around, she gets I'm kidding around. Some people don't. Okay, so you got to kind of look at your audience too and kind of feel them out. Humor should be fairly obvious and nothing to worry about. However, it's not if you're not good at it. You may think you're funny and the other person may not think you're funny. Okay, so you got to kind of take that into account. Otherwise you can offend people with a silly statement that you were just trying to joke around and they didn't get that. Okay, same thing with your copy. If your copy is trying to be humorous and you're not good at humor, you need to learn humor. Okay, it'd be a whole lot better to learn humor. Let me get another sip here. It's a little warm in the office today. It could be these 9 lights I have on. That may have something to do with it. You guys can't see all these lights, but I am just surrounded by lights. It's so funny when you're shooting videos, unless you're outside and the sun's shining, man, it is so hard to get lit up to do a video. It really is. It's just really difficult. All right, so anyhow, I am on number 6 right now. I've got up to number 6. That's not bad. Make sure your communication is clear and concise. Make sure your communication is clear and concise. Read it over and over and over again. Step back and go, what am I reading here? I was looking at one of my wife's thumbnails on one of her videos yesterday, and it said I think $1 purchases, and below that it said Dollar Tree. And I said, you said the same thing twice. You said the same thing twice. Same thing twice. You're wasting space here. You're saying the same thing twice. She was saying, well, I was just trying to show them how cheap it was. I said, well, then just put Dollar Tree. They know how much everything in Dollar Tree costs. And if you're not from the US, Dollar Tree is a store that only sells things for $1. Okay, so it was redundant to say both of those things. Make sure you're clear about what you're saying. Okay, if somebody show your sales page to people. Say, what do you think of this? What do you think I'm trying to say here in this sentence? What do you think this title is trying to say to you? Brevity is a whole lot more important than detail when you're putting a headline out. Your detail should be in your content. Your detail should be in the body of your email. The subject line of an email, the headline of a sales page should be brief, and it should answer the problem. It should answer the problem. Okay, so a good headline may be have a 3-week supply of food for less than you would spend at the grocery store. Okay, so that tells you the result of buying my survival food. It tells you the result. Have a higher quality supply of food at a lower price than the grocery store. Right? Well, that tells me what the result of reading the rest of this is going to get me. So that's super important that you do that. Speaking clearly can sometimes be a problem, since not everyone takes the same time to improve in diction and in word usage. So you got to be careful about the words that you choose, because they may not have the vocabulary you do. You can't assume that. Remember I said at the beginning, you can't assume things. Let's see, your 9 lights are helping. You were pale face in your recent live streams. Oh, well, good. I'm glad it's brighter. And sometimes it's the angle. I can twist one of these lights a little bit. Like my wife had taken one of these lights and went and filmed something and then brought it back, and I think it's at a higher angle, so sometimes that makes a difference too. Just the angle of the lights. But think about this. For best results, try practicing speaking in front of a mirror and recording yourself for playback. Try that. I know when I'm doing videos, oftentimes I'll do a video and then I'll go back and look at it. I'm like, oh man, I didn't like the way it sounded. Now on these live ones, I can't make corrections. You guys are hearing me live. It's Thursday, the 3rd of June, 2021. And if it's not that date and you're hearing me say that, well, you came up later on. You're seeing a recording. That's okay. But anyhow, try to do that. The last prerequisite is respect. Respect. Okay, you must have respect. Never disrespect anyone that you just met. Okay, and I would say don't ever disrespect anyone, period. But I mean, in the beginning, you've got to really tread lightly. Later on, when you get to know somebody, you can kid around with them a little bit. First impressions never go away. They stick. When somebody first meets you, they stick. First impressions are everything. So make an effort to present yourself as a confident and respectful business person. Okay, and I try to do that in all my videos. I try to do that in my emails. I try to be respectful of everybody. And the opposite of that is, why would you be anything other than that? I mean, why? Think about that. If all you had to say is blah, don't say blah blah. Okay, make it short. Keep it short and respectful to the people. And then we're going to get a great healthy look today. Oh, thank you, James. I appreciate that. Working on the health every day. Got to work on the health. Last night, and to get off track, we're going to get to number one in just a second. But last night I was like, man, I'm eating too much heavy food. So I got fresh vine ripened tomatoes. I got fresh Persian cucumbers. Got a little bit of onion. Put some olive oil, balsamic vinegar. Sprinkled a little bit of Mediterranean feta cheese on top of that and stirred it up, and that was dinner. That was it. So I tried to eat a little bit lighter. I got to drop like 20 pounds. I know I do. Matter of fact, I got to try on pants today. I don't even want to do that, but I got to try on pants for a wedding and go get them altered. So yeah, gotta be healthy. And we're gonna get to number one. Are you guys ready for number one? If you're ready for number one, put ready. I'm ready. Put that in the chat box. Let's get going here in this chat. I don't have enough people chatting in there. Need more people talking to me. Are you guys awake today? Show me that you're awake. That's some good tea. Really, I use a really high dollar tea called Lipton. Nothing fancy at all. Sometimes those basics are all we need, just those basic stuff. But are you ready for number one? Let me hear you say, yes, I'm ready for number one. I want number one, okay? Or I guess it's number 7 now, but it's the number one thing, but it is still going to be number 7 in the length of stuff that I've got to do here. So here we go. And we're nearing the end too, so I mean we're getting down to the very end. Number 7 is establish trust early on. Establish trust early on. And how early is early on? Immediately, okay? Establish trust. I do it in some of my videos where I'll say, hey, I've sold millions of dollars of both digital and physical products, and I want to share some information with you. Right up front, I'm saying, hey, this is what I've done. You can look me up online. We did 5 figures again yesterday. Good day. I like when we do 5 figures a day. Okay, of course we are ready. There you go. That's what I'm talking about, James. Come on, Richard. Let me know you're ready in there. Okay? Emily, go ahead. Let me know you're ready. Mark, let me know you're ready. Richard, there he is. Yes, ready. Thank you so much. I appreciate you humoring me. That's what you're doing. Some people naturally distrust other people because they don't know what the other person is thinking. Okay? Now, I'll tell you, when I ran car dealerships, I would tell the salespeople an entirely different thing to say to customers than any other dealership in town. And I ended up running the number 1 Chrysler store in the state of California, number 3 in the United States. And then I ended up as a vice president over a group of 16 franchises. But one of the things that I would tell them is that we know certain things about our customers when they come on the lot, and we've got to disarm them. So instead of walking up to a customer, shaking their hand and saying, hey, can I get you a great deal on a car today? You want to buy a car today? I'll get you a good deal today. Don't do any of that. Do just the opposite of that. I would tell them to go up and say, hey, welcome to the dealership. I just want to let you know up front, there's zero pressure here to buy anything. I understand that you may want to just look around. You may want to drive some cars. You may want to get some pricing payments. You may want to find out what your car's worth. And then you may want to take all that information, just go shop around town. And I want you to feel free to do so. Is that fair enough? Now, what kind of reaction would I get from that? They'd be like, well, yeah, that's exactly what we want to do. How'd you know that? Because everybody wanted to do that. Every couple at home would sit down and say, hey, look, we're not going to go buy anything right now. Let's just go look. Let's get some prices. Let's shop around. Let's compare things. Let's see what the payment's going to be. Let's see what the interest rate's going to be. Let's find out what our trade's worth. And then we'll shop around. Then we'll come back home and make a decision. So I would say that to them up front. Now, some of you may be saying, well, you just talked yourself out of a sale. No, I didn't. Because they already said they didn't want to buy. They said that at home, okay? All I've said is that I understand where you're coming from. I understand how you feel. Now, here's the funny thing about doing that. When I said that to people, people were more likely to look around. They felt more comfortable. They felt the pressure off them. They're more likely to drive a car. They're more likely to come inside and look at payments. They're more likely to find out what their car's worth. And guess what? They're more likely to buy. Because so many of those people that I said that to ended up driving away in a car 2 hours later. And the reason they did is because I took down all the barriers. I established trust up front. I did that, okay? And I hope you can see that. I brought up all the objections those people had up front. And that's the best way to establish trust, is to bring up objections. Now, when I was selling my survival food, I used to go around to gun shows. I used to sit at tables and have people taste it. And I would say, I bet you think survival food tastes terrible. I know I did. And it doesn't have to taste terrible. Taste this. And I would give them a taste of it. And it was mind-blowing good. I mean, our canned meats are some of the best in the world. I mean, they're really, really good. People are like, man, you're right. This doesn't taste like survival food. Because I knew in their head they had that determined, negative thought about what that food should taste like. And it was really good, and it is really good. And after a decade of selling it, I think I've established that. Have you sent the truant officer to check on Paul? Let Paul know he's missed. Yes, I have, James. As a matter of fact, I've been talking to Paul. Paul's wife, sister is in town, and she said that he cannot go online, that he has to clean up and fix things all around the house. She's got a honey-do list for him, and that's why he's not here. The first day he was gone, he actually contacted me, and he apologized. He said, I'm so sorry. This is why I can't be here this week. Yes, James, I have talked to him. He's an awesome guy. The first day he missed, he actually sent me a message, and he says, I'm so sorry I missed your session. This is why. And I'm like, okay, you're excused. We've checked on him. So instead, continue being cordial, okay? Always be nice, okay? Even if somebody is rude to you, even if somebody's mean to you, kill them with kindness. You've heard the saying before, kill them with kindness. Don't let somebody else, even if you're going to get rude people, okay? I get rude emails, I get, rude comments and all that. Even if somebody's rude to me, I'm like, you know what? Maybe they had a bad day. Maybe they lost their job. Maybe they can't pay their bills. Maybe they don't feel good today. There's a lot of reasons why people are like that. Don't always assume it's because they don't like you. They don't even know you, okay? A lot of these people who get my emails, or these people who read my sales pages, or even I talk to on the phone, which I talk to a lot of people on the phone, they don't know who I am. They have certain assumptions about who I am. They don't know who I am. They don't know my background. They don't know my family. They don't know I was a single dad, raised a couple kids. They don't know who I'm married to. They don't know what I do every day. They don't know the charities I support. They don't know any of those things. They don't know. Okay, so I don't get offended. I quit getting offended in my 40s. I made a comment about that recently. I quit getting offended in my 40s. There's no point. What's the point in getting offended? Yeah, don't let it change your attitude for the day, okay? Establish trust was number 7, in case you missed that and you're taking notes. Guys, I think we hit a lot of things today, didn't we? Hit 7 different things you can do on communication. And I'll tell you, communication's like anything. The more you do it, the better off you're going to be at it. I was terrible when I was young at communications. Awful, because I never did it. Because I was scared and I was nervous and anxious and all that stuff, guys. But you know what? You can change. Even if you have those feelings right now, even if you say, well, JR, you don't understand how I feel. I'm a very anxious, I'm a very nervous person. You can change that stuff. All that can change. You don't have to remain who you are. You have the ability to change. And I want to leave you with that today. You do have the ability to change always. No matter who you are, no matter what's going on, you have the ability to change. Guys, I want to really thank you for being here today. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button down there. I would greatly appreciate it. Got a little burp there from the teeth, got a little hair. Sorry about that. And don't forget, after you subscribe, to ring the bell. Turn on all bell notifications. Now, this bell won't pop up until you hit the subscribe button, and then it will, and then you got to click on it, and it's going to give you some choices. You want to pick the choice that says all notifications. That way, when I do go live, when I do upload a video, YouTube can actually notify you of that, and you'll get that notification. You don't have to go searching around. It actually saves you a lot of time, because you don't have to look to see if a channel has new videos. Super important. Let's see here. James Breen, peace and blessings always, everyone. See y'all tomorrow. He's going to be checking out there. And guys, I really do appreciate you so very much. I appreciate your joining me here. If you're not live on this call, and let's say you're watching it afterwards, do me a favor and put anything you've got to say in that comment section there. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and you like the video too. That means a whole lot to me. Richard Brown says, excellent, many thanks. Thank you so much, Richard. I appreciate it. Well, I got 2 more sessions this week. Got Friday and I got Saturday. Saturday's going to be a cool one too. I think you're going to like it. You'll like tomorrow too. Tomorrow's good. I really try to put together some good information for you guys. I don't want you to waste your time. You were nice enough to show up and listen to me. I don't want you to waste your time. Great athletes don't have anxiety. They're excited at the starting line. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not an athlete. I work out every day, but I'm not an athlete. I don't think. I don't even know what classifies you as that. Maybe I'm an athlete because I do work out. I don't know. Who knows? My son's a bodybuilder, and if you saw him, you'd go, "Whoa, that's an athlete." He's a pretty big dude, very cut and in shape. Maybe I'll put his picture up on one of these things here. Do I have that I could do that? Let me see. Let me share something with you guys. You may find this interesting. And I know I've gone over a little bit, but I want to show you what my little boy looks like. My little boy, what he looks like. Patrick Fisher. Yeah, let me try to share more options. AirDrop, MacBook Pro. So we got that, and let me see if I can find anything else of him here. Just to let you see what I'm dealing with here with this little boy. Just to let you see what I'm dealing with. Hang on. Simmer down. Simmer down. There we go. There we go. You guys hanging in there? You want to see this picture? I bet you do. Let's see here. No, I don't want to do that. I want to save photo. I want to go here. And I want to go here, there. Okay, so now I've got, I'll show you the first picture here. Yeah. This is him and his wife. He was just in Florida. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm display capture now. And I think I need to go to here and downloads, and I think that's it. Right there. There he is. There's my little boy, in case you're wondering. And I think you would look at him, and I'm going to wait till that comes up on the screen here. You were hanging in. Thank you. I appreciate it. Great athlete. Okay, I read that one there. Me too. Okay, so see if you can see my little boy there. That is my little boy. Let me get this up a little bit bigger. And he is a nurse. Him and his wife both are at the Cleveland Clinic, and he works in a cardiac unit and has some pretty harrowing stories. So that's my little son right there at the gym. And it's funny because he was the scrawniest little kid. And put your opinion up there. Does that guy look like an athlete to you? Does he look like an athlete to you? You let me know what you think. Let me get a sip right here real quick. Does that look, and he's about, I think he's 6'4", 6'5", something like that. So he's in the gym a couple days a week. I kid about that. I think it's like 5 or 6 days a week that he's in the gym. He works very hard. He eats right. He does meal planning. He does all that stuff. So you can now understand why I feel obligated that I have to work out and do a little bit of exercise, because I got a kid that looks like that. So I don't know if you guys can see him yet or not. I know there's a big delay by the time I put something up on the screen and you guys see it. But put your opinion in there. Do you think that guy's an athlete? What do you think? Now he is the sweetest, nicest person. He smiles 99% of the time. He really does. He's really an awesome guy. I like him a lot. He's like a friend to me. I did take him to Vegas for his 21st birthday. This year yes, and somebody not to argue with. I gotta tell you, Richard, he wouldn't argue with anybody. He's the most likable, easygoing person you would ever meet. I know he looks like that, but when you talk to him, I mean, he loves little kids. He loves little animals. He has birds. I mean, he's nothing like what he looks like. He's just a really nice, kind person. So yeah, I mean, even though he looks intimidating, he really is not. He's just the opposite of that. But that's why I have to work out. That's right there is why I have to work out, because I'm going to get a bunch of crap from him if I get out of shape. Let me move this up one here. There we go. So I'm back. So anyhow, so that's why I got to work out, because I got that to contend with. Okay, and my daughter's in pretty good shape too. She does the same thing. She works out like 5-6 days a week. So if nothing else, I've taught him. You see, your son reminds me of my friend Bob Hoover. Yeah, is Bob like that too? Bob, huh? I gotta see who Bob looks like, right? I gotta see that. Well, obviously, he looks like Patrick, right? That's Patrick. Okay, guys, I've gone over today. You guys have been too much fun. I've just enjoyed being with you. I really have. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I really appreciate you guys very much. Feel free to send me any messages you want. If I can help you out in any way, please, please do contact me. I am here to help you. This is my give back part of my life, okay? For years, I've made a lot of good money, and I'm just giving back now. That's all I'm doing is giving back. So if I can help you out in any way, you got questions, you need stuff answered. I can't be your mentor. I've had somebody contact me the other day say, can you be my mentor? And I'll share with you my profits. I'm like, no, I can't do that. I got a lot of other stuff to do, but if I can answer questions for you, I'll be happy to do that. Really good that you're proud of him. I am. I'm immensely proud of both my kids. My daughter, and I'll show you pictures of her later, but she's got a 3-year-old, and she just had twins just over a year ago. So she's got 3 boys. And she's an awesome mom, and she takes good care of them. And I was a single dad, so I raised them both by myself. From the ages of 12 and 8 is when my ex and I split. She never showed up for visitation. She moved out of state, and I just had them. But I got very lucky. They were just great people. So I'm very lucky, very proud of them. Google Bob Hoover. All right, wait a second. Maybe I will do that right now. I thought he was a friend of yours. Let's see here, Bob. And I'll share this with everybody else. And I'm going to get off of here in just a second, I swear. Oh, wait, that's Haver. I want Hover. Hover. Well, what I'm coming up with is probably not what you're trying to show me. Because, okay. He's somebody from years ago. 1934. Bob Hover. Okay, I see what you're saying. This is what Bob Hover is, guys. Yeah, my son, except for the color of hair and all that stuff, I get it. Yeah. So he was probably some actor or something, I would assume. Very interesting. Thank you for sharing that with me. I really do appreciate it. Oh, he was a friend of yours. Oh, wow. Okay, James. Very cool. Yeah, he's in IMDb. There he is. So yeah, I'm done. I gotta go. You guys have a great day. I'll see you.